Let's talk about adding text to a web page in Dreamweaver. I think we would all agree that text is integral to any website. On a website, text falls into what I would call two categories, and they are static and dynamic. Static text is reading text, informational text. You don't physically interact with static text. It's like reading a magazine. You have no interaction physically with the text in a magazine, at least not yet. Wait till technology catches up. Dynamic text is something that we can interact with, or it does something. I mean, in a very loose definition of dynamic text glows, it blinks, it does something. Probably the most common way I would say we would use dynamic text is in the generation of some type of link, and that would be one way that we will explore as we go through this lesson. First thing we have to do, though, first things first, is I want us to set up a site, and this site will be the site that we will use for the remainder of these lessons on and off. I want you to go into your work folder that you got with these lessons, and in that work folder, you will see a folder called Test Site. Drag that out and put it somewhere on your computer. Now, I'm going to put mine on the desktop, makes it easier for me to find. You can tuck it away anywhere you want, but just make sure you remember where you tuck it, because you're going to have to get back to it again. Once you've got that done, let's go back into Dreamweaver, and what we're going to do, instead of going Site and saying New Site, we're going to go down to Manage Sites. This is just a different way to do it. In Manage Sites, I really do like this though, we have the ability to access any sites that we're working on. So if you got a lot of sites, you're one button click away from changing to a different site to access it and work on it. We're going to click the new button right here. Give it a name, like, I suppose DW for Dreamweaver, Test Site. We need to find it, local site folder, click the Browse button right here. And once you've browsed, I put mine on the desktop. Where did you put yours? Test Site, click Choose. For the purposes of what we're doing right now, we don't need to do anything else. We just need to let Dreamweaver know where our files are and how to update and access. So we can click Save. Once we do that, we can click Done. I want you to do one more thing. Click this button and make sure it's on Classic. If it is, I want you to do one more thing. Click it again and go down to Reset Classic. Now that just absolutely guarantees that what I see is what you're seeing, and what I want you to see is this over here. You should see our local files with docs and images. Index is the file that we want to open up. Double click to open up index.html. Let's go ahead and go into just pure design. What you're looking at is something that we did very similar in the previous lesson. We created a document and we added a tracing image. Now remember what that is. The tracing image helps me visually define the boundaries of how I can work, because one of the things that I really want to make sure I can do if I can is make sure that index page, which we now call the landing page, that's the new buzzword if you want to know it, landing page, will actually open on the client's machine in their monitor without any scrolling up, down, left, or right. If I can do that, that's the best kind of landing page you can have. These numbers down here tell me I'm working with a target audience of 1024 by 768, and the actual width and height of that line is 955 by 600. If I can keep my landing page within those areas, it almost guarantees the page will open without any scrolling. And like I said, that's a good thing to do for that landing page. Let's get back down here again. To add text to the page, we could add an AP div and put it in there. We could put a table up, which we've been doing for the last 150 years, but we're not going to do any of that. We're going to do raw, uncontained text on the page, kind of like what we did probably 25 years ago. Now, the reason we're doing that is because it's easy, and we're starting out simple. We don't have to do rocket science right away. But the other reason is there are still sites that require uncontained text. And at the end of this particular segment, I'm going to show you one that's hosting one of my sites that requires only what we're about to do is type it on the screen. Now, with that said, start typing. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, USA, so I'm going to type in the Wichita Visitors Site. The Wichita Visitors Site. That's really original, isn't it? Press the return key. Now, I don't want to get too retentive about everything and try to explain every detail. But when I say press the enter key, if you're using a Mac, the actual name of that key is the return key. We have a return or enter key on a 10 keypad. Don't worry about the 10 keypad. When I'm saying press that enter key, Mac people think return key, but what we're doing is adding a carriage return. That's all we're doing. We're going down to the next line. Let's type in another short line of text like thank you. Thank you for visiting our site. I hope you enjoy the journey. I'm a big journey person, period. That's all we're going to do for now. So we have the Wichita Visitor Site. That's going to be a heading with formatting. Thank you for visiting our site. I hope you enjoyed the journey. We've got all kinds of things to cover, spell check and everything else. But I would like to see what this thing looks like in a browser. Remember, Dreamweaver WYSIWYG screen is not a browser. It's Dreamweaver. We have to look at how the browser interprets this, so we have to save it first. I'm going to do it from the pull-down menu, but obviously press Control-S. We've already saved this once. Then we can click this button right here, the globe, and go down to the browser of choice. Let's say Safari. I'm on a Mac. You see, I don't like the way it's shoved up against that left wall. So what I want to do is change that. I'm going to go into Modify Properties. And what we're going to do is just change these numbers here to 5 pixels each. Understand, if those were left blank, you would have a border around it, but it would be different for different browsers. By putting in a number, you guarantee the number you want. Click Apply, and see it pushes it off. Now, it's going to push the graphic too, but that's fine. Remember, you don't see that graphic. You don't see this when the page is displayed. We try that again. You have to save it. I'll press the shortcut. And we try that, and there you go. Again, not much going on yet. We haven't formatted the text. We haven't even centered it. We haven't turned it into a heading. We haven't done bullets and lists, all the things that we're going to do. But I do want to show you, and I said I would show you this. There is a site that hosts my train travels and journeys. I'm a nut. I've got to be a nut because anybody that can spend 11 days on a train and never get off the train needs serious help. But I write about it for magazines, and I host it on a site. Let me show you that site. It's called trainweb.org/Andy. And if I go to this site, understand what you're looking at here is simply text, just the way I typed it. This is the way they want it. The only thing they ask for is text uncontained, and if you want, you can use a table. That's all they'll take. So if you click on any of these, basically you see the journeys of all these travels I've done. Again, like I said, I do need help because I take all these train travel trips. But this is uncontained text in HTML with an occasional table to put together a graphic. So there are reasons why you might actually need to put text together like this. Now, in the next segment, we'll get a little bit more into how we're formatting and working with the text.